What is up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to Double Trouble with Sooner Surge. Look what Monty says. Hit the like. Maybe that's the first thing you should do when you get on here. Hit the like button, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's not that difficult. Hit the like button. It helps the algorithm out, helps the channel out. That's all we're asking. Hit the like button. Thanks, Monty. Appreciate it. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's championship week with basketball. Selection Sunday on Sunday. Porter Moser not going to DePaul. Spring practice is rolling on. Jerem, what's going on today, man?
Allergy attack.
Allergy attack, huh? Hey, did you get any storms today?
A little bit. Got a big old track meet tomorrow, so.
Bobby. Porter's coming back unless the Creighton job opens up, I would think.
Hey, Bobby, you know what the best word in there is? Stuck.
Hey,
Stuck.
Sooner fan, I would expect that hire to be made within a week, and it be Doug Gottlieb.
And Brian Montanati will be the assistant.
And, to me, OSU has tried different options now. They went to get a young guy. They did Travis Ford. They did Mike Boynton. It's time to go to somebody that used to play in Stillwater. It's time to hire Doug Gottlieb. My opinion, I thought they should have hired him last week. And before we move on, let me say something. Mike Boynton, one of the classiest guys, I think. I'm not an OSU fan at all, but I absolutely love Mike Boynton. And yes, he did a video today. I don't know if you saw it, Jeremy. Did you see it?
No.
I love that a guy can basically thank the university basically after firing him and then say, we didn't achieve the results we needed. But he's very humble. He can admit when they're not winning. I think he's class as can be, man. I really do. And I hope he goes somewhere and tears it up somewhere. I really do.
Right. I agree, but you cannot win. I mean, if you don't win in Stillwater, you're not going to be kept around. And right now, Doug Gottlieb was a consultant for Mike Boynton this year.
He was helping Mike Boynton out this year, as well as doing other things. He's coached AAU and different things before, but he was a big, help with, I think, Boynton this year with the team. So
they're not going to a 14-team playoff so they can guarantee 4 SEC teams. I don't think that's not why they're doing it. You can almost guarantee 4 right now.
Yeah, and hey, the thing on where was it? Oh, this OSU owes their basketball coach $7 million. OSU's made some dumb mistakes. Okay, Travis Ford's contract, dumb. Mike Boynton, it's too early. It's like you're throwing all the money at him so early to try to keep him, and now they're kind of in a bind.
Hey, Steven, thanks for the fact drop, and I'm not surprised because OU has played really well against SEC opponents. Now, sometimes people would argue, well, those bowl games, if they played some of those teams, didn't really matter. But it is a true stat. OU hasn't been dominated by the SEC by any means.
Yeah.
And guys, A&M didn't get dominated when they went to the SEC, and Missouri's held their own. So let's remember those two teams.
Gary says they compromise on the 4 SEC team guarantee.
My point is they're getting 4 this year without 14 teams.
I agree. Do you like the 14 teams?
Look, at some point it becomes watered down. I don't know what that number is, though. 14, 12, whatever. They're the same.
Mark, I'm not changing my opinion on that. I think they're going to get 5.
Was it 5 or 4, Jay?
5. I said 5.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What's up, Lori? Yeah, hit the like.
Eric says that OU struggled with Alabama in a home and home. Was that when Ronaldo Works was here? Works.
They did
beat Alabama, and then I think we went on the road, and was it Jeff Ferguson had the fake punt?
I believe so. It wasn't a fake.
Those weren't OU's greatest teams either.
No. Hey, speaking of peeps, worst Easter candy there is, by the way.
Oh, bar none, not even close.
Not even close.
Comparable to the dark orange and dark brown Halloween candy.
Yeah, Mess is asking on the 14-team playoff official.
OU was ranked. I have not heard it's official. OU was ranked number 1, Jay, with Ronaldo Works.
No, I don't. He must be talking about a different time. What I'm talking about is when OU went to Alabama. No, OU was not ranked number 1.
Yeah, I don't know which year he's talking about. I was talking about the Ronaldo Works game and then Jeff Ferguson on the road. That's the game I'm talking about, Jay. The fake punt. Or it wasn't a fake punt. It was like the guy was going to block the punt and he just basically pulled it out from under him.
Yeah. Steven, there hasn't been a whole lot out footage yet. Haven't seen a whole lot.
I figured we'd see some kind of video footage from Oklahoma football. Maybe
we've seen a little bit. 2003, Eric is saying. Are you talking about the home game or the road game, Eric?
Both he's talking about. Hunter, drop the scores of those games in here.
I know both of them were struggles. I will say that. Yeah, they were struggles. Yeah, unbelievable. KC Chiefs are winning another Super Bowl. Mark it. They're winning another one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like another Tyreek Hill, man. Stretch the field.
Correct.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, Dallas Cowboys twiddle their freaking thumbs and do not a dang thing, man.
That is correct. Hey, OU's never been great from the number 1 position. Let's call it like it is.
Well, you can go back to Barry's days. They were.
Well, yeah. I mean,
okay, so you can't say never.
Never's the wrong word, Jay.
Yeah, that's the wrong word. You're right.
And you can't say OU's a lock in basketball either, so shut it.
Hey, I knew you were going to bring that up tonight. OU's in the NCAA tournament, so just stop. They're in.
Not yet, Jay.
Not till Sunday night at 5. You're right, but they're in.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I hope you're right. I'd love to be playing on next Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully it's not Tuesday.
Yeah. But even if it's Tuesday, you're in the tournament, so that's all that matters.
That's it. They'll get in.
All that matters
for
OU.
Sounds like
get in the tournament. Be happy.
They're going to be coming back. So. Yeah, great pickup, Mars. Great pickup.
What else is out there today, Jay?
What's up, Chad? Appreciate
Thanks, Chad.
it. Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
After the 2024 season.
I think they will have 14 after 24. I would agree with that. To me, what does a 14-team playoff do that a 12-team doesn't? Like, I mean, besides two teams,
it gets 2 more teams in, Jay.
It gets 2 more teams from other conferences in. That's why they're doing it.
Correct. They don't want people to say it's an SEC bias, which it
SEC
already it not just is, it's been that way for years. The SEC bias is real.
Why is it real? Because they win.
It means more, Jay.
Because they win. Because they win the Natty.
Jay, you used to get annoyed by it. Bama 2013 versus Texas 65-13 versus Missouri 34-13 versus A&M 77-0 versus LSU 21-13 loss. Was that in the Natty game?
Yeah.
Was that the Jason White, Keywan Jones?
Keywan Jones wide open, yeah.
Wide open. That's pretty good against the SEC.
Yep.
OU was ranked number 1 that year.
What's up, Joshua? Finally got to go to Love's Field. Well worth the wait. For y'all that have been out there, everybody I've talked to says well worth the wait. Great place to watch a game.
Hey, wasn't that game on the road, Eric?
Yeah, that was on the road. And OU,
Eric, a 10-point win at Bama is never bad.
No, but Alabama was not good.
I agree it wasn't.
They were not good.
I agree, Jay. It wasn't. The environment was good.
Somebody explain to me, though, what that game in 2002 has to do with this year.
Wait, so the 20-13 was on the road.
But wait, what does 2003 have to do with
I thought 2002 was Ronaldo Works.
What?
Wasn't one of those years the Ronaldo Works game? It was a home game, Ronaldo Works.
That was the home game, I believe.
That was Ronaldo Works was the home game, I thought. But.
Hey, Tell me what that has to do with 2024. What are we talking
Nothing. I don't know what we're saying. I guess because I made a comment that OU's done pretty well against the SEC.
What's the argument?
I think it's because I said they've done pretty well against the SEC.
Oh, okay. I see where he's coming from then. I see. Eric, I understand now. I got you. I didn't see that, bro.
Yeah, Mez is right. It was Ronaldo Works was at home. The Ferguson was on the road. I just didn't remember being ranked that high with Ronaldo Works as our tailback.
Yeah.
Think about those years. Ronaldo Works and Kewan Jones were not great. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, guys, maybe we can say college football at that time. If
Jeremy,
Ronaldo worked, what?
But what was great in those years?
For OU?
Yeah.
Defense.
Correct.
Now, it started getting worse probably around 2003. I mean, probably 2005, it really started getting bad.
Yeah. You're right.
Remember Bassey, Jay?
Oh, yeah. A lot of good guys from those teams, man.
Some good teams.
That they were.
I mean, I just don't understand that. Well, they won by 10 at home or they won by 7 on the road. It was 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Well, I do think also that it's different when you're playing in the conference. I mean, we could right now sit on here and say Porter Moser should dominate next year in the SEC just because he's dominated them so far. It's not that way. You get into playing them every night out, it's different. Every week out in football, it's different than playing them once a year, one team. You know what I mean? It's a little different.
Power shifted to the SEC, one because
Nick Saban.
Well, not just Nick Saban, but
Nick Saban is when it transferred to the SEC, bro.
He's a major reason. Also, the TV contracts that the SEC had were outrageous.
It doesn't matter. They were winning natties. Nick Saban was winning natties.
They were winning natties.
You're good. I mean, when you win a natty every year, and that's a good point too. Trench play. I mean, they started getting all the best players in the trenches, and when you do that, what does that usually equal? W's.
Well, OU's trench play was good too back then.
Exactly, and it equaled W's. I don't think anything's changed in the last 20 years. If you want to win a national championship,
Dalpos thinks that
really good in the trenches. What?
Dalpos thinks SEC backdropped early.
Yeah, now that's
there. It is too.
That's
there.
True.
It is too. Jay's right. It's easier to recruit there. There's players all over the place.
Yeah, Urban Meyer as well. I mean, they had some good coaches, but I think what they also had, when you look at it, you know, OU was dominant in the Big 12. And you can go back to the early Big 12. OU and Colorado had some really good teams in the Big 12. The problem was those teams. What?
They were okay.
Gary Barnett, they were pretty good. The point being, Jeremy, they weren't winning national championships. That was the problem. That's why OU got the 1 in 2000, but they weren't winning national championships. They could never get to that next level to beat the SEC team when it mattered, right? And
it wasn't always SEC, Jay. USC destroyed OU. They won SEC.
I understand that, but I'm saying the majority, I mean, I don't know what it is. I'd have to look it up, but since 2000, how many SEC were national championships? How many SEC teams?
Yeah, a lot, Jay.
Rashawn Salaam's a blast from the past. Out of the last 20 years, I would bet 14 to 15. I may be wrong.
Clemson's got a couple, right?
Yeah. And then Michigan.
Ohio State.
Michigan.
Urban Meyer, Ohio State, Michigan, USC.
They got it probably 12 to 15. I don't know.
OU. Well, now you're going 12 to 15. They don't have 15.
I said the last 20 years.
They don't have 15. They might have 12, though.
Wait, so they got about 15 then, Hunter? Is that what you're saying?
And Eric, it was, look, both of those years, if those games are on the neutral side, OU has 3 natties since 2000.
Well, you can't say that for sure, but here's the thing:
Those
both
two games
were close. They were very
also
close.
DeMarco Murray's injury killed OU versus Florida.
I agree. That was
Killed
a big
them.
loss.
The DeMarco Murray injury killed him, and then Keywan Jones is wide open in the end zone. You got to make that play.
Hey,
got to make the play.
Hey, was Gresham banged up?
Seems like someone else was banged up besides DeMarco Murray.
Gresham was banged up a little bit.
And didn't DeMarco get hurt on a kickoff the week before that?
Yeah, it was him.
And I don't think OU's played a starter on kickoff since.
Okay, Gresham was playing. I couldn't remember if he got banged up or not.
Their tight end killed OU that year.
Eric says Gresham destroyed him. Percy Harvin was injured, I think, going into the game, but I think he played.
Harvin played.
Yeah, he was kind of banged up a little bit.
So, yeah, it was against Missouri.
Look at that. 14 since 2016 if you add in OU Texas. We're not adding in OU Texas. So
correct.
That's wild. That's why it means more, and that's why there's a bias right there. When you win natties pretty much every year, almost every year, it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, that is true.
Well, okay, let me ask you this, guys. Viewers on here, let me ask you this. What put Georgia over the top? Because was it Kirby Smart only? Because before Kirby Smart, the coach they had from Florida State, Mark Richt, could not get him over the edge. Could not do it.
It was a combination. Kirby Smart and elite recruiting, whether it was dropping bags or what, but they got the dudes in the middle. Dudes.
Thank you. They got the dudes in the middle, period. And he does deserve a lot of credit. He was a defensive guy. As soon as he got over what Mark Richt couldn't get, they were good on offense. They could not get
I love Mark Richt.
Hey, this is what I was kind of going to is what OU's done has been outstanding in recruiting. They've been 5. You know what OU needs now? They need a couple of top 2 to 3 classes. Like, I mean, you're in the SEC. The whole thing about going to SEC was what? Hey, they ought to be able to recruit better, right? Well, they recruited at 4 and 5, 5, 6, 7, whatever it's been. Now you got Alabama, which they don't have Nick Saban. You can't throw that excuse at him anymore. You're recruiting against Kalen DeBoer, okay? OU now needs to take that next step, get a top 2 or 3 class.
Well,
that's my personal.
Kim says if you watch the cycle, OU's coming up on 3 more natties. Mez, and I hope what you're saying is also true of BV, who learned under Stoops and learned under Dabo Sweeney. And the other thing is, Mark, I can see the BV Kirby. I would never say Mark Richt with Riley. I know what you're saying on the offensive side, but I love Mark Richt. He just couldn't get it done. Love what he stands for, though. Great Christian dude. Great players coach, but he could not get over the hump.
Hey, and Brent Venables, we'll know after this year if he's Kirby or not. Because this is year 3 now. Year 3. Jeremy, you kind of put your head down a little bit. But year 3.
Johnny, Jay.
Oh, year 3.
I've already said if BV doesn't make the playoff this year, his seat's burning hot.
Hit the like button. Thanks, Dow.
You want me to say it every night on the live, Jay?
No, I don't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think about when Kirby Smart started to make the jump. Was it not?
Mark, you are right. You are right, Mark.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's got a good name too, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, if OU to roll in at 6 or 7 this year in the SEC, Jay, it's not good. Mez, I agree with you a lot. I highly disagree with you here, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, Jonathan agrees with Mez. In my opinion, Stoops built a sustainable championship program because they had championship.
Look at it from 2000 to 2010.
What?
Look at it from 2000 to 2010. They were in 3 natties championship.
You interrupted me.
Okay.
Okay. The people that are saying Stoops is overrated is unbelievable.
Guys, they were in 3 national championship games.
Now, should they? I wish they would have won more, but he put them in position time after time after time after time after time again. Florida and LSU were literally coin flips in that game. USC, they get destroyed. The Boise State playoff game or Boise State bowl game was bad. But, I mean, to say that he's overrated is very, very, very absurd.
I got a question for the ones that are saying that.
Absurd.
The ones that are saying that. The ones that are saying that, let me ask you this. Take out Alabama and Georgia. How many coaches have won multiple championships in the last 20, 30 years? How many? Dabo, it. Maybe Urban, okay? There's not that many of them is what I'm saying. I think it's kind of ridiculous that, I mean, yeah, Urban Meyer, that's one. Okay.
Not impressed with Stoops overall.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's wild considering
that may be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard on here.
It is a stretch. Listen, do you remember the program when he first off, what's really dumb is to sit here and say he didn't know how to build a championship. Did you know what it was before he got here? I would say he did a pretty good job building it. Now, could he have won more? Yeah, they lost 2 games. Really, if they win those 2 games, people are saying he's the greatest coach ever of all time. And by the way, I love Switzer, King Switzer. I get it. I love it. He also played in a time period where you shared national championships on AP poll votings.
Yeah, Eric, it was an embarrassing loss. That game meant nothing to Oklahoma. Come on, let's be real.
It was an embarrassing loss, though.
It was a horrible loss. I still dream about it. It was awful. But guys, and Bobby says built a winning program. Not
what? Bobby, what's a championship? Is winning a Big 12 championship a championship program?
Jeremy, it doesn't matter. He won a national championship, so that is a championship. Now, if you want to say sustainability of winning multiples, no, he did not. He lost 2. He was 1-2 in national championship games. Yes, you are correct on that. But to say not a championship one, to me, if you don't win a championship one, that means you don't win one at all. And he did win one. So
he's won wherever he's been. I mean, he's only been at OU. I get it.
Now, Jeremy, you would agree with a part of this because you said Bob Stoops was loyal to fault.
I said that Bob Stoops' biggest issue was loyalty to the fault. Yes. I did say that. Now, I'll also say this. Big Game Bob was less Big Game Bob later in his career.
I agree with that.
And part of that was the loyalty thing. But it is absurd to say that. Listen, guys, I just got a big-time announcement right now, okay? If Bob Stoops can't build a championship program at OU, then I think you're kidding yourself. If you weren't happy with Bob Stoops, I guess you're never going to be happy.
Fung's Way says, did y'all see on Twitter Jaden Jackson getting...
Ricky McCoy mentioned it too, Jay.
Yeah.
Jaden Jackson with the first team. Absolutely. Josh, thanks for the super.
Thanks,
appreciate
Josh.
You nightly watching. OU under Bob Stoops was the model of consistency. 98% of college football coaches would take Stoops' career over that time span. That is a fact. Thanks for dropping it, Josh. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Josh. And, hey, one thing you can say about Bob Stoops, the word you use, consistent. Correct. Now, I think Jeremy mentioned earlier, and I think Eric and Mess are not wrong, and Bobby are not wrong with saying Big Game Bob became a little bit less Big Game Bob later on.
Hey, and before we go any further about the Jaden Jackson stuff, because I've seen several people say he's on first team. Like, where? Now, I said Jaden Jackson, I think, is going to play as much as David Stone, but considering that there's really been no one there watching it, I don't know. Maybe people are talking about it, but I'd rather hear that from someone on staff talking about it.
Jeremy, it doesn't matter anyway. It's March.
Agreed.
If you want to tell me one thing I'm sick of OU hearing guys are going to be unbelievable in March, April, May, June, July, August. Okay?
Agreed.
Show it to me in September, and I'll believe you.
Agreed.
He gets out there and dominates, I'll believe you.
And I agree with Mark. Integrity, for the years that Bob Stoops was here, you never had a question if anything was done the wrong way. I think the same can be said for BV. Same coaching tree.
Well, yeah, Jonathan, I'm with you. Like, I could care less. Really, this has probably been the most. I wouldn't say removed, but I really could care less what I even hear out of spring practice. Now, when I go to the spring game, I'm going to see with my own eyes what I think, but I'm not going to believe anything until I see it on the field September next year, because I just think there's just too much time between now and then. There is.
Yes, Eric. Joe Mixon stayed on the team. You're correct. What does that have to do with
he's saying
Bob?
Because of integrity. But, I think Bob has even said afterwards that
he said he gave him a second chance.
Yeah, but Bob has said afterwards that was just that was a tough deal. Yeah, I don't want to comment on that. But.
Yeah, okay. Hey, to say Kirby Smart's better than Bob, yeah, he's a pretty doggone good coach.
Hey,
you're sitting there comparing two of the greatest of all time.
Pete Carroll's another one, Mesh. You're right. I didn't think about Pete Carroll. That was another one. So.
Well, when I say integrity too, Eric, I don't know of one time when Bob Stoops was ever in any kind of trouble, okay? I'm not going to question Bob Stoops' integrity.
Well, Mike Lupica went after him for running the score up.
Okay, if that's all you can say about the man, okay.
Meanwhile, you have coaches like Pete Carroll that we're talking about winning multiple natties with obviously some issues going on, correct? Yep. Hey. Yeah, Pete the Cheat Carroll, Mark says. Hey, got trivia for us tonight. We're about halfway through the show. Let's go ahead and do trivia. Before we get with trivia, go to fanstop.com. Check them out. Use code Surge. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months.
Wow.
For March 20th, and you'll get the April shirt. You want to be that.
Pete Carroll, that's laughable.
So here we go with trivia. I'm switching gears to basketball for trivia question only, and then we can get right off basketball. But how many times has Oklahoma been a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament? Anybody know this one? Jeremy, you got it?
Maybe. Fill out the giveaway form for a chance to win the quarter zip, guys.
Correct. Yeah, fill it out. I've not seen the answer yet. It's not 2, not 3, not 4, not once. We're getting there. Not 0.
Let's someone get this question because I got a lot to respond to right now. Sorry.
5. The answer is 5. Bobby, was Bobby the first one, Hunter? He might have been the first one. Answer's 5. Way to go, Bobby.
Cheating on what?
What? We were cheating.
Eric said OU was cheating too. Don't you remember? Hey, was it Mez that dropped it in here about, I think Mez put some names in here. What's funny, and maybe Hunter can go back and find the comment. What's funny, Mez, is you mention the names that you mentioned and then say that if you're mentioning Stoops in those names, then he is a great coach. Facts. And by the way, I would not say Dabo Swinney is a better coach than Bob Stoops. That is laughable. Not in longevity. Yeah, he did win 2 natties.
I think Dabo and Bob are very. I mean, that's a good comparison.
Not in longevity, Jay.
I'm not talking about longevity. Jeremy, Dabo Swinney is regarded as one of the best coaches in football, and so is Bob Stoops. So what's the argument? I don't understand.
I'm not brainwashed by just because I live in Oklahoma. Listen, I was critical of Bob Stoops. If you knew me at that time, you would know I was very critical of some things. That does not mean, and it doesn't tip the scale, that he's not one of the best coaches of all time. That's my point.
Now, I think a lot of people, listen, I think a lot of people on here talking about this Bob Stoops thing could say that, hey, maybe later on, like Bobby said, there were some OU fans that were kind of frustrated. But to sit here and say he was an overrated coach, I think it's laughable. Laughable.
Well, we know Switzer did a lot of cheating, if we're going to bring that up.
I do not like LeBron at all, but I'm not going to say he's an overrated basketball player.
I can't stand LeBron. One of my most hated guys in sports. Hey, Jay, what do you mean Dabo beat the GOAT twice? You talking about Nick Saban? How many times did Bob Stoops beat Nick Saban? Figure it out. It's hard to compare different eras anyway. But the point is, it doesn't make it right.
Yeah, I thought
doesn't
it was
make
one
it right,
stretch.
Mez. I don't care
once.
if you bend the rules. It doesn't make it right.
I don't know where you're going with the argument with Saban, but whatever.
I thought Stoops beat him
Eric,
2 or 3 times.
Eric, don't say meaningless game if you're going to bring up losing to Boise State, bub. Because that Boise State was meaningless too, was it not? You can't say Bob Stoops.
Yeah, Eric, you can't say that, bud. Sorry. You lost that one.
I agree. The OU Alabama game was meaningless to Alabama. I agree with you, Eric. But then don't bring up Boise State. Boise State had everything to play for. OU could care less they were playing Boise State.
Hey, that's my problem. But I thought the argument originally was Bob Stoops building a championship program. You cannot say he didn't build one. I can't believe it's a thing either. Iowa Sooner.
I agree, Eric. So is Alabama.
He agrees with you, Eric.
I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you.
Well, Mez is hating on Stoops tonight, too. It's not just Eric. But listen, two things are true. I can be critical of Bob Stoops. I was late in his career. Several things I was critical of. But I can also, in the same sentence, say he can build a championship program because he did.
Hey, I want to say this, watching basketball today, it's just like in basketball, these tournaments they're doing in these big conferences like the ACC, Big 12, SEC, and all this. Some of these teams could care less. They're already in the tournament. They really don't care if they win or lose. And then you have teams like Cincinnati making a run, and they're going to try and put them in the tournament. Why? Because they beat a Kansas team that didn't have any players. I mean, this is a joke. It's the same thing with bowl games. When you cannot count bowl games as, OU beat an SEC team. They beat Auburn. Didn't mean anything. How about the game they beat Florida? Remember that? Dan Mullen?
Hey.
Remember that one?
Hey, yeah. When Kyle Trask. Hey, listen. It's funny to say I'm not impressed with Stoops as a natty head coach. I mean, that's ridiculous for one. Two, let me remind you, Mez, Eric, whoever's hating on Stoops, which you have the right to hate on Stoops. That's fine. Don't be impressed with him. I bet both of you guys were cheering out your rear when he came back and coached Oregon with Caleb Williams and stepped in for the program after Lincoln Riley just toasted the program. He steps in and takes over. That's a man of integrity. My goodness.
Jeremy, nobody's arguing that, though. Why do you bring that up, that nobody's arguing that?
No one does that, Jay. He built a championship program, and he's able to step back in and do it again.
OU through and through. Nobody's arguing he's not OU through and through. They're arguing natties and winning national.
So an elite coach has to win multiple natties, is what you're saying, correct?
Jeremy, they're arguing he was 1 and 2 in national championships.
So tell me what an elite coach is. I want Mez and Eric to drop it in. What is an elite coach?
I'll tell you right now, I would be so freaking happy with Brent Venables to win 1 national championship. I would be.
I'm asking Mez and Eric specifically, who do you want? What would be good for you? What is an elite football coach in the nation? Dabo? What's Dabo's record, Jay, in playoff games and national? Longevity over a 23-year span or whatever it was.
Hey, why is he saying 1 and 3? Eric, why do you say 1 and 3? I'm confused, Eric.
Yeah, Dabo Swinney was 2-1 in the Natty.
Eric, why are you saying 1 and 3? What are you talking about?
And listen.
No, I want to know.
LSU, Florida, USC.
LSU.
OU lost to LSU. Hey, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say, Jay. The fact is, now I get could have, should have, would have, but didn't. When you get to the Natty, as in my opinion, getting to the Natty as many times as Bob Stoops did, he's an elite football coach. End of story, period. When you get there, it's a game of turnovers and other things. The coach did not lose the game for them. When you get to that level, guys, come on.
I agree.
You've got to get to that game. Time and time again, he did it. That's all you can ask as a head football coach. That is an elite football coach getting there 4 times. Now, if he would have just maybe made the playoff and never gotten there, I could agree.
Mess says elite. Urban, Dabo, Carroll, Smart, Saban, Dabo. National championships are the standard. Hey.
I can't anymore, man. I just can't anymore.
I think Stoops was an elite coach. Now,
no, but all I'm saying for Maz and Eric, if an elite coach has to win multiple national championships, you're never going to be satisfied here.
Why? You don't think OU coach can do that?
Multiple championships so you're telling me if BB right now in the next 10 years gets in 4 natties and goes, or 3 natties and goes 1-2, you're going to be disappointed. I, for one, would be happy to be in 3 national championships.
What they're saying is that
2 teams make it. My goodness.
What they're saying is that wouldn't be elite, is what they're saying.
Then you can't have, then there's only like 1 or 2 elite coaches in the history of the game. Okay, fine.
That's what they're saying, Jeremy. There's only a handful.
And I want to know, Mez and Eric, you would take Dabo Swinney over Bob Stoops, correct? And Pete Carroll, correct? Because I wouldn't take either one of them over Bob Stoops.
The fact of the matter is this.
Both of them cheated. Hey, I like men of integrity. Sorry.
Here's also a fact, is that
Pete Carroll should have been on probation with Liner and Bush. Urban Meyer cheated all his way. Please.
Listen, will you let me talk and say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
The fact of the matter is this. If Bob Stoops, instead of going 1-3 in natties, would have went 2-2, he would have been an elite coach, is what the argument is.
So if Jason White would have hit Kewan Jones, that makes Bob Stoops an elite coach? Okay.
I'm just telling you what they're arguing, Jeremy.
That's my point, Jay. You just have to get there. 405 board. I would love to have 1 or 2 more. If Jason White hits Kewan Jones, Eric, then I guess Bob Stoops is elite, Jay.
Jeremy,
if DeMarco Murray doesn't go down, I guess Bob Stoops is elite.
Jeremy.
Jay, wait, Jay. If you can point out in the national championship game where Bob Stoops just absolutely was outcoached, I'll go with you. He wasn't.
USC.
The USC game, he was.
But hey, I'm not arguing with
the LSU game with Joe Burrow. We had no business.
That wasn't Bob Stoops.
That was Lincoln Riley.
That was Lincoln Riley. Hey, yeah, if is a big word, Jimmy says. Hey, we could argue this. For
my point, Jay, my point wasn't that, my point was players in the end, a lot of times is what it comes down to. If you want to say they should have went for it on 4th down and Bob Stoops made a bad decision, I know he did several times.
I think we need to just move on. I mean, here's no matter what anybody says, you're going to have the people that argue he was 1-3 in national championships, and that's going to be their argument. And they're going to say couldn't win the big game. I'm just telling you, I'm not one of those people. I love Bob Stoops. I think he was a outstanding coach, one of the best in Oklahoma history, other than Switzer. I would put him number 2. Okay, but that's what the argument's going to be.
Yeah, I guess so, Jay.
Who's winning the first natty? Jackson Arnold, Hawkins, or
Jackson Arnold?
Definitely not going to be Zerberg, I don't think. But
Jackson Arnold is winning the first natty, and I think Stoner Jackson. I think Stone and Jackson play about the same amount this year. I've said that before. I think David Stone, Jaden Jackson play equal amount of snaps, close to.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're both going to play a good amount this year. And listen, I want to get to this one. Tyler says Bob is still elite for OU, still a major influence. Hey, he's one of the most loyal coaches OU's had. You got Switzer and him. I think you're never going to win this argument either way. You're going to have people that say he's a great coach, not elite. You're going to have people say that he's elite. Jeremy, throw your hands up all you want. You can't win this argument either way. You're going to have people that
I'm not talking about you. So I'm talking about, first off, never call me drinking the Kool-Aid, okay, Eric? Eric, are you talking about me right now? I'm just curious. I'll wait. You know, when you put I'll wait in the Discord about Farouk running a slant from the slot, you didn't have to wait long. I showed you evidence he was on the outside. But I'll wait here. You're calling me up for drinking the Kool-Aid? All I said was David Stone and Jaden Jackson, I think, are going to play an equal amount of snaps. Hey, guess what? I guess it could be 0.
Hey, can I ask the question here? Give me room to talk. Let me ask the question. I'll ask everybody in the chat. Eric, you can answer it if you want. What was David Stone's ranking in high school as far as defensive lineman? Okay. If he was going to Alabama right now, what would people be saying? They'd be saying he's going to be really good. So I don't think it's drinking the Kool-Aid when he's a top guy. It's different. Now, it's different if you're saying he's going to be all-world SEC first year. That's drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't think we know.
Did I ever say that?
No, I'm just saying. That's why I said I'm waiting till September. I'm waiting till September till I see it. I'm not going to believe anything I read or hear or anything right now.
Eric, please, in the chat right now, Eric, do me a favor and just say, what did I say that was wrong? Here's what I said. I'll refresh it for you. Jaden Jackson and David Stone, I think, will play equal amount of snaps. Tell me how that's drinking Kool-Aid.
Good for you, Eric.
I don't drink either, Eric.
Good for you. Hey,
tell me,
Eric,
tell me where I'm wrong.
Eric's not wrong here. OU has OU's busted on a lot of 5 stars. That's true.
So has every team. Yes, I agree. But you got to get 5 stars.
I agree.
I'll wait. I'm curious what I said that was drinking Kool-Aid.
I agree, 405, boy. We got to see it to believe it. Now, I don't think here's the difference. I think drinking Kool-Aid is David Stone's going to be freshman All-American right away. That could be drinking Kool-Aid. That could be over.
Time out. The question, Eric, the question, put this up here. Eric, the question in the chat was, will Jackson Arnold, it was Jackson Arnold,
Hawkins or Zerberg?
Hawkins or Zerberg I said Jackson Arnold win the first one. So I guess if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, then I guess you think it's going to be Zerberg or Hawkins.
Hey, wait.
What was wrong with what I said, dude? Jeez.
Hey, yeah, Bookie was a 5-star. Eric,
if OU's not a favorite for the Natty in 2025, there's problems.
Eric, I thought you were the one that said OU needs to be in the playoff the next 2 years.
I thought Eric said OU was getting in the playoff. So Eric says I'm drinking Kool-Aid if I pick any of the 3, I think. The question was, who do I think is going to win a Natty first? And I think it's Jackson Arnold. I think he's special. I think he's really, really special, really, really good.
Kim, that's a great point. That's why you need to get more 5 stars because some of them don't pan out. It's a great point. Eric, so if they're saying we need to be in the Natty, need to be in the playoff, that means Jackson Arnold could have a chance to win the national championship over his next 2 seasons, right?
Except Eric's saying they're not going to be there. I do say they will be. Look, I promise you, I don't like Kool-Aid.
No, he's not, Mark.
And I promise you I don't drink it. I promise you I don't drink it.
Hey, Mark, he's a huge OU fan. I know for a fact. Okay?
Why would you even show that comment?
And there's, hey.
Jeremy, you don't know that the offensive line is trash yet. I can't say, and let's not have personal attacks. I can't say that they're great, and I can't say they're trash, Eric. We don't know yet. Time will tell. That's what spring practice will do. And I may yell every single, not may, I yell every single night, and I will never personally attack anyone.
Hey, and listen, I'm not going to personally attack you but I do think nobody knows if the offensive line is trash or not. It could be very trash. It could be not trash.
I'm going to say this one thing, and I don't know. I don't know what a nasty thing is, but if I'm drinking Kool-Aid, Eric, I don't know what you're drinking, but it doesn't taste good because every comment so far from you tonight is OU is trash. Bob Stoops isn't good. So if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, you're on the opposite end of the spectrum then, which is fine. That's your opinion. But I'm just answering the questions in the chat.
405 says, boy says, the offensive line does concern me. I think that has to be a concern. Right now, going into the spring, what you want to call practice, going into the spring game, you got 4 weeks, whatever it is, there's a few position groups that you got to say, that's a concern. One of them, to me, concern, offensive line. It's a concern. They're too unproven right now. You don't know that. They could be great. Nobody said they can't be, but it's a concern. The other one to me would be a concern. I think concern for me would be tight end.
Oh, absolutely not.
Until I see it, Jeremy. That's
what I do agree that the offensive line, and maybe we'll see what happens on the defense. But
Jeremy, I think the tight end room is talented. Okay, but I'm just saying I have not seen it yet, so I can't say it's going to be all world. Can't.
The only concerning thing is trenches win titles, and we're going to see how good OU is. That's what we got to see.
Georgia or Ohio State? What's the question, Hunter?
I'm not sure what the question is. Yeah, the bowl game, they did have 600 yards of offense with a piecemeal offensive line. That is true.
And I think the other question for me would concern.
Chief is right. Chief is exactly right. Eric, it's hypocritical to say, and I agree with Chief. It's hypocritical if you can call something trash, but I can't say someone's going to be really good. It's hypocritical.
You mean as far as drinking the Kool-Aid or?
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is I didn't even drink the Kool-Aid. I was literally answering the question that I think Jackson Arnold will win the first one of the three. He would be the one to get one out of the three.
Steven, I agree with this take. We'll know by then. Why didn't you read my last message? I don't know what it was, Okilon. I'm trying to scroll.
Oh, it's about he wants to be the one that gets me fired up with the puka shell necklace. This is bigger than puka shell necklaces, Okilon guy.
Jimmy,
we're arguing OU football now, a lot bigger than a puka shell necklace. But by the way, it's still here for you.
Jimmy, I agree with you on this, and I think Jeremy disagrees on this one, but this is one that I agree with you on this because I think it's ludicrous. Yeah, the word's ludicrous that anybody thinks Jackson Arnold won't have any growing pains. I just think the competition is really
growing pains, but I'll think they'll win.
Well, hopefully.
Hey, and here's what I'd say to everyone here tonight. First, big kudos to everyone on the chat. Now, look, it may bother. I don't know. I don't know if it bothers people or not, but again, I don't mind having takes on here and disagreeing. We do need to do it in the respectful way. Thanks, Chad Gamble, for the super. Thanks, Josh Crenshaw, for the super. I don't know why it's starting over. That is not us. I don't know why. It's not doing it for everyone. I don't know what the deal is on that.
Maybe a YouTube glitch. I don't know.
We'll try to figure it out. But listen, it's okay. We got a lot of time to argue some things until spring game, which is April 20th. Hey, hopefully we get some news out of the spring practices.
Wouldn't be fun without it. We got a long time to go to a spring game, so got a lot to talk about.
Appreciate y'all being on here. We'll do this again tomorrow night. It's always fun. Hunter, maybe tomorrow night, join us. Gary wants Hunter on. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it. Boomer.